So here we are going to start at the bottom of the jacket with our yarn, and I have cut 145. I've actually cut a few more holes off all the lace. I made a mistake when I was pulling it out and things, so I've got all the lace here. So what I'm going to do first is cast on, and I'm using the circular needles just because of the camera. It's a lot easier than using the long needles, which is what I would normally use. You don't need to leave any length of thread, just enough so that you can sew it in. Casting on, this is how I do it. You can do it however you like. I put my finger towards myself and turn it round. Put the needle in, take my finger out. Do it again, finger towards myself, turn it round. I'm going to cast on the needle. Put it on the needle. So you've got 2 loops on the needle. Take the back loop over the front loop. There we go. And then pull it. And that's your first stitch. Okay. This long needle is getting in the way here. So then casting on. First stitch is needle into the stitch, yarn over, pull it through, put it on the needle, and then from then on it's needle between the 2 stitches, yarn over needle, pull it through, yarn on, through the between the 2 stitches, yarn over, pull it through, yarn on, and you carry on like that till you get the amount of stitches you need. Okay. In this case, it's 145. So I will be back when I've got 145 stitches on. Oh, that didn't take long. 145 stitches. I know it looks a bit twisted. 145 stitches. Now, first row is a knit row. So, to make that nice edge again, slip the first one, okay, slip your first stitch, okay, and then knit every stitch after that to your last stitch, okay, and then it's a purl stitch. And I want you to do 7 rows of that. So that's 7 rows garter stitch, which is knit every row, okay? Knit every row, slip the first stitch, purl your last stitch. 7 of those, and I will come back when I finish this. Okay, I have finished knitting my 7 rows garter stitch. As you can see, 3 ridges on one side, 4 ridges on the other, and I'm now going to work the lace row. Now, if you don't want to put the lace in, just do a purl row instead. Simple as that. You just don't need to do it. It's fiddly, but actually it's not. It's just, where's the other end of my needle? I don't like these. I don't like working with these long needles in front into the camera because it's awkward. Anyway, you put your needle into the stitch, okay, and then in through the first hole. I've cut over 145 because I need to. I'm sure I miscounted at some point. In through the hole, and then you put it round your needle, just as if you're knitting it. Pull the stitch through, slide it off, and that attaches your lace. So, into your needle, into the hole, round, pull it through, slip it off, okay, into your stitch, into the hole in the lace, round, pull it through, lace and stitch, and slide your stitch off. And you need to do that to the end of the row. Okay, I will be back when I have finished the whole row. Okay, so I have completed the lace row all the way around. Look at that, that's just, I love it. I love it. I don't know why I haven't put lace on a lot more. I might do that in future. But it's optional. Just do a purl row if you don't want to put the lace on. Okay, this is where we're going to start the pattern now. And we are going, the first row, let's sort this stuff here out. Apologies. Right, the first row obviously is slip 1, this is your edging, and knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the first row is a knit row, so knit to your last stitch and purl 1. Okay, I'll come back when I finish the whole row. Okay, that's me completed the right up into the last 5 stitches, which is your, it's your border. So you knit 4, and then you purl the last stitch. Right, okay, so row 2 of the main part of your lace is a purl row. So what you do is slip your first stitch. Okay, slip your first stitch and knit 4. 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you purl to your last 5 stitches. Okay, I'll come back when I get to the last 5 stitches. Okay, I'm at the last 5 stitches now, and I'm going to knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to purl the last stitch. There we go. Okay, so the third row of starting the pattern on the body is slip your first stitch. Okay, knit next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, sorry, and then you start this repeat, and it's knit 2 together, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK. I'm just doing the 1 stitch because I find it just works just the same. Okay, so that's what it is. So you slip your first stitch, knit the first 4, that's your border, and then the repeat from there is knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK. Okay, do that again, and you do that, you repeat that 5 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, or my version of it, and you repeat that 5 stitches to the last 5 stitches, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK. Okay, I will come back and I have gotten to the last 5 stitches. Oh, hooray, I'm at the last 5 stitches. Okay, so we're going to just knit those, knit 4, and purl the last stitch. Knit 4, purl the last stitch. Okay, so that's the third row. Now the fourth row is a purl row, so you slip your first stitch, knit the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then purl to the last 5 stitches. Okay, okay, that's me completed that row to the last 5 stitches, and you will knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, purl the last stitch. Okay, so the next row, whoops, is a knit row. and we'll do the same as the last time, where we slip the first stitch, knit to the end, knit to the last stitch which you purl. Okay, I will see you at the end. Okay, we're at the last 5 stitches, which you knit 4, 2, 3, 4, purl the last stitch. There we go. Now, and this is the last row of the pattern on the main piece, and I get myself organised. Slip the first stitch, knit the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this is the repeat is knit 2, 1, 2, purl 1. Why can I get this right? Purl 1, knit 2. Okay, that's the repeat to the last 5 stitches. So it's knit 2, 1, 2, purl 1. You can see from there that the stitch you're purling is the one between the 2 yarn overs. In case you're wondering, that's the one you're purling. Okay, so the next 2 is knit 2, and then the next 2 is knit 2, and then there's that stitch again, and that's the one you're purling. So carry on doing that to your last 5 stitches. Okay, and I'll finish up. Okay, I am at the last 5 stitches, so it is knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl 1. Yep, so that's the pattern. That's the 6 rows. Okay, so that's the pattern, and I want you to repeat that 6 rows 8 more times, so that's 9 in total, and then I will return. Okay, so this is us at the armholes, well, just about at the armholes. So what we're going to do is a decrease row to take it down from 145 stitches down to 100. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first 5 stitches, well, slip the first one, knit the next 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to knit 2 together, knit 1. That's what we're going to do. Knit 2 together, knit 1, and that will take us down to 100 stitches, and we're going to do that right along to the last 5 stitches, and we're going to knit those 5. Okay, so it's knit 2 together, knit 1. Okay, that's us at the last 5 stitches. So it's knit 4, purl 1. That gives you that nice edge up there. Look at that. That's really neat. Anyway, okay, so should have 100 stitches on. Okay, that's me checked that I've got 100 stitches on, which I have. Now the next row is a slip your first stitch, slip your first stitch, knit next 4, knit your next 4. These circular needles, when you get down to a certain amount of stitches, drive me crazy. Anyway, knit next 4 stitches, and it's just a purl row, just a purl row to the last 5 stitches. Okay, last 5 stitches, and I'm going to knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl the last stitch. Oops, there we go. Now that last stitch always gets me. Now the next row is where we put our first buttonhole. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to knit 2, no we're not, we're going to slip the first stitch and knit the second stitch, and then we're going to yarn over and knit 2 together, okay, and then knit to the end. Okay, we're at the last 5 stitches now on that row, and we're going to knit 4, 2, it's the buttonhole, 3, 4, purl 1. Okay, now the next row is the important row. Well, they're all important because you have to get to where you're going, don't you? So we're going to divide for the armholes here. Oh, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get a shorter needle in a minute. So we're going to knit 24, so slip the first one, knit 23. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Okay, just check that. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24. Okay, knit 24. And then we're going to cast off 6 stitches. So you just knit the next 2, 1, 2, take the first one over the second one. So that's 1. Knit the next one. That's 2. Knit the next one. That's 3. Knit the next one. That's 4. Knit the next one. That's 5. Knit the next one. That's 6. Now, in a lot of my patterns, I always say when you're going to knit however many for the back, that you still have 1 stitch left in the needle, and that's that stitch there because it's left in the needle. So we're going to now knit 39 stitches, which is then going to give us 40 because you've got that stitch there. So it's 40 altogether. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7, 8, make sure that is 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Okay, so that's 40 stitches you've got there. So now you're going to cast off another 6. Okay, so let's knit the next 2, 1, 2, first one over the second one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so then what we're going to do is go knit to the last stitch. So that should give us 24 for the left front. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, purl your last stitch to keep that nice and neat, 24, so that's 24 for the left front. So there you go, that's for your armhole, and that's your back armhole and your right front. Okay, so we're going to continue now on these 24 stitches here for your left front. Okay, so what I'm going to do is untangle myself, hopefully. Okay, so that's going to start on the left front. Okay, and what you do is you will slip your first stitch and knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, purl to the gap. So what you need to do, purl to the gap. Okay, that's to the gap. That's your purl, that's the purl row. Now, next row is a knit row. Now, there's reasons I'm doing this knit and purl rows just now. I'll explain in a minute. So it's a knit row. Knit to your last stitch. And then you purl it. There we go. Now, next row is a purl row. And then I'm going to tell you something else. So, slip your first stitch, knit the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then purl to your last stitch, and then you purl it. So that means purl to the end. Oh dear. Okay. Okay, so you did purl row, knit row, purl row. That's what we did. So what I want you to do now is repeat the last 2 rows, which were a knit row and a purl row, 7 more times. Okay, so it's 14 rows altogether you will have to work, and I'll come straight back. Okay, so I have completed the extra 14 rows. As you can see, to get up, we're going to start shaping the neck here now. And what I want you to do is knit to the last 8 stitches. Okay, so we're going to knit 16, I think it is, isn't it? It's 24, it's on there. We'll soon see. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Right, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, so spare piece of thread, and I'm going to put these 8 stitches onto that spare piece of thread. This is for the neckband, and what I do is I just knit the stitch and pull it through, as you can see. Okay, where's the other end of the thread? There it is. Okay, knit the stitch, pull it through, pull the yarn through. There we go. Just do that to all 8. Oh, for goodness sake, there we go. Now, this just looks so awkward. It's a lot easier when obviously you're not doing it in front of, oh, there we go, got the hang of it now. In front of the camera. Because you've got to keep your hands where you've got to keep your hands. Okay, so now we have those 8 stitches on the thread. Just put a simple knot in it, just the one, so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay, it's not too tight. Now we're going to carry on with these 24 stitches. Okay, and we are going to decrease 1 stitch at the neck edge on every row. That's the next 6 rows until you've got 10 stitches remaining. So what I do is I just simply, whoops, simply, oh my words, simply purl 2 together at the beginning, at the neck edge, that's where the thread is. Okay, and then purl to the end. This looks so awkward. It's not, you know, it's not. I need it completely. Get back in there. Right, okay. So purl to the end. Okay. Okay, there we go. That's the armhole edge. Okay, so the next row we are going to knit to the neck edge, knit to the last 2 stitches. So slip your first stitch and knit to your last 2 stitches. Okay. Last 2 stitches, knit 2 together. Okay, so that's 2 we've done. So 4 more. So you do that, 4 more rows, do that, and down to 10 stitches. Okay, we're at 10 stitches now. So the next 4 rows are just purl row, knit row, purl row, knit row. Okay. Okay, that is me completed that 4 rows. Now we're going to cast off the shoulder. So slip your first stitch, knit your second one, take your first one over your second one, knit the third one, take that one over, knit the next one, take that one over, knit your next one, take that one over, just continue until you have one stitch left. Then you just pull that one stitch right up and cut the yarn. There we go. So that is, probably the wrong one here. There we go. That is the left front finished. Okay, so now I'm going to start on the back. Okay, so we're going to work on these 40 stitches, and basically it's going to be a purl row we start with. I'm not going to do this because it's stocking stitch and it's 28 rows altogether. Okay, and I will be back when I have completed the 28 rows stocking stitch. Okay. Okay, that has been completed. The 28 rows. I'm not even looking at the back now. 28 rows stocking stitch for the back. So the next row is, this is casting off for the shoulders. I've got to find my needle now. The other end of it. It's that long. And we're not using so many stitches. So I have to figure that out. Right, so what we're going to do is we're just going to cast off 10 stitches here. Okay, so that's purl, second one. Take the first one over the second one, that's one. Two. Three. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, purl to the last 10 stitches. Let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Right, okay, we're going to cast those off. So we purl 2, then we take the first one we purled, which is right there, over the second one, and we carry on doing that to the end of the row. Okay, nearly there. Not the last one. Oh, purl it. Take that stitch over the top. Okay, now get a hold of that and then just pull the thread up, right up, and then cut it off. Okay, there we go. Now So that's your shoulders either side, and that's 20 stitches there for the neckband. And I'm going to put these on a holder. I have one here. It's easier than a thread. I'm going to put these on a holder. Just slip them on. There we go. On a holder. There we go. Now, so I'm going to get rid of this big long needle now and use, well, it's got to be this needle, but you have to work it from the way that you were going, and we're on the wrong side. So what you're going to do now is you're going to join your yarn here, join your yarn onto this here, slip. I wouldn't knit the first stitch because I'm joining the yarn, obviously. Join the yarn and then purl to your last 5 stitches. Two, four, 5, knit 5, so it's actually knit 4 and purl your last stitch. Okay, there we go, purl your last stitch. Right, get rid of this huge, absolutely huge needle. Okay, so next row, your next row is a knit row. Now this is a buttonhole side. Okay, so we've already finished one, so what we're going to do is a knit row. So let's slip your first stitch and then knit, whoops, wish I had shorter needles in this size. Don't know why. I got one. Don't know where the other one went. I cannot find it. So annoying. Stop banging. Okay, to the last stitch and you purl it. So, okay. Next row is a purl row. So first stitch, slip, and then purl to your end, purl to the end. Oh, it's not even time for the shop to be open so I can pop out and get a set of the smaller needles. I've searched high and low for them. Try knitting this way. That won't work. Just won't work. To the last 5 stitches, okay, and then you knit 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Purl your last stitch. Okay, so purl. The last stitch. Right, so we joined the yarn and we did a purl row, and then we did a knit row and a purl row. So what you need to do now is 6 more rows of what I've just done. So knit row, purl to the last 5 stitches, knit 4, purl 1. 6 more rows, okay, and I'll be back. Okay, that's that completed, and I found a set of needles that I needed, which is good. So another buttonhole row is next. So slip the first stitch. No, it's not. It's knit the first two, but slip one, knit one is what you've got to do. Yarn over, knit two together. Okay, knit two together, and then knit two end. Okay, knit two end. Okay, now that's your buttonhole row. Right, what you need to do now is another 7 rows, okay, of the purl and the knit, another 7 rows. Okay, that's me completed that up to there, the extra 7 rows. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the yarn, and I'm going to put the first 8 stitches onto a thread, just like we did on the other side. Okay. That's 1. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so and then we're going to just gently tie a loose knot on it so it doesn't come out. Right, so now lost my yarn. That should be now. Okay, so now what we're going to do on the remaining 16 stitches is decrease 1 stitch at the neck edge till you get down to 10 stitches like we did before. So it's knit 2 together at the beginning of this row. Yeah. Knit 2 together at the beginning of this row. Knit to the end. Oh, what's that? Let's have a look. Oh, tail got caught up, that's what it is. Okay, so it's knit 2 together. Knit to the end. Okay. Now, same on the next row. Except this one's a purl row, obviously. So it's purl to the last 2 stitches. And then you purl 2 together. Whoops. Okay, and then you purl 2 together. And you do that until you've got 10 stitches left, okay? And I will be back. Okay, that's 10 stitches left. Now work 4 more rows. So that's a knit row, purl row, knit row, purl row. That's the extra 4 rows completed. And now we're going to cast off. So slip your first stitch, then take your first stitch over your second one, and do this all along the row. Okay, not too tight, not too loose. Okay, there we go. the row. There we go, almost to the end. Oh. Okay, and then pull that stitch there. Right, cut it off. There we go. Now, oh, delighted with this now. Absolutely delighted with this. Just got to put it together basically and do the neckband, which is super, absolutely super, just super duper. That's going to be so cute when it's completed. Okay, so first things first is turn it right sides together. Okay, right sides together before you do the neckband. It's a lot easier. And sew up the shoulder seams. Okay, so get the right sides together and you sew the shoulder seams together. So sew along there, and on the other side sew along there. 10 stitches in each one, so it should be fine. Okay. Okay, exciting, getting there. I'm getting there, getting there. I've got enough. I haven't. I sort out this ball of yarn so that I can knit with it and it won't run away. There we go. Sorted. Okay, so I've put the 20 stitches from the back onto the needle. And what you're going to do is you're going to pick up and knit with right sides facing. You're going to pick up and knit this 8 stitches. You're going to pick up 10 from there, knit the 20 from there, 10 down there, and the 8 from there. Now I'm going to do it on camera to show you how I do it. So I've got the 20 on the back here, and then what I do is I will put these 8 onto the needle as well. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, that's the 8 on. Get rid of this thread now. There we go. Now, other needle. I'm just going to knit them. Okay. I'm going to make sure that I've got the right thread to knit them. You've seen me get 5 or 6 stitches in and go, that's the tail, and I have to start again. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we've got to pick up 10 between here and here. I know it looks quite a long area, but it really isn't. So I'm just going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Come on, number 5. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and then try and get one up here close to the needle itself. 10. Right, so we're going to knit the 20 along the back here. Okay. Okay, so that's the 20 along the back. Now we're going to put this 8 onto the needle, starting at this end. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Take the thread out. Yes. Now, again, we have to pick 10 up between there and there, which is quite easy to do, really. You just decide where you're going to pick your 10 up from. So that's 1. Got the thread too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've just lost them. I think that one's number 7. That was number 8 actually. 8, 9, 1 down here close to the needle, 10, and then I'm going to knit this 8 here. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 56 stitches altogether on your neckband, and you're going to knit 3 rows. Okay, no purl, no nothing, just knit the 3 rows. Okay, and I will be right back. Okay, that's the 3 rows I have knitted, as you can see. So the next row is a buttonhole row. This is the 3rd buttonhole. So it is slip 1, knit 1. Oh, I did this the last time, didn't I? I did this the last time. Slip 1, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together, then knit to your last stitch and purl it. Okay, so that's the buttonhole row complete along this side. Remember which side it was on. It's on this side. So what you got to do now is work 2 more rows. So that's knit 2 more rows and cast off. Okay, 2 more rows, cast off. That's all you got to do. Okay, I'm going to do the sleeves now. For the first sleeve, I'm going to cast on. I'm going to leave a longish length for sewing up the side. I'm going to cast on 31 stitches. 31 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's 31 stitches on for the sleeve, and we're going to knit 5 rows. So if you want that nice edging up the side, it's slip your first one, knit to the end, knit to your last stitch, and purl your last stitch. Okay, so I will go and do the 5 rows and I will come back. Okay, so that I have finished the 5 rows garter. That's knit every row, and I'm going to now cut 31 holes off the lace. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31. So I'm just going to cut it right there at 31 holes. Now, if you don't want to put the lace in, as I've said, doing the main bit of the jacket, just work a purl row. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to work this lace row by putting our needle in through the stitch and then in through the, get hold of this, in through the first hole, okay, and then we're going to put the yarn around and pull it through, and then slide the stitch off the needle, just like you're knitting, except you're adding satin at the back. So it's needle in through the next hole, yarn round, pull it through. I didn't pull it all through. Yarn round, pull it through, slide your stitch off. Okay, needle in through the hole, okay, in through the hole, yarn round, pull your stitch through, slide it off. Well, I'm going to do this all the way along the row, and I will get back to you when I have finished it. I've completed the lace row, and the sleeve is going to be plain. So the sleeve is going to be plain. Okay. So the next row is going to be a purl row. It's going to be a knit row. Don't listen to me. It's going to be a knit row. Right, so we're going to do that. Okay, so we're at the last 3 stitches. Purl the last stitch. Gives you a nice edge. Okay, so the next row is going to be a purl row. It's going to be a purl row this time. So you slip your first stitch and then purl to your end, to the end. Okay. Okay, on our last 3 stitches, purl the last stitch. Now this next row is going to be the first of 4 rows that I'm going to want you to repeat. And at the moment we will have, after this row, we will have 33 stitches on. So anyway, slip your first stitch and then you're going to knit into the back, into the front, and then into the back of the next stitch, okay? And then you're going to knit to the last 2 stitches, okay? Okay, that's us at the last 2 stitches. Now I want it to increase, so it's knit into the front and knit into the back of that stitch and then purl your last stitch. So you now have 33 stitches on. So that's the first of the 4 rows I'm going to want you to repeat. So the next row is just going to be a purl row, okay, just a purl row. Okay, that's us just at the end of that purl row. Oh, lost that last stitch there. Never knitted that one. Oh, catch it properly. There we go. Right, next row is going to be a knit row. Okay, so come on needle, come through my fingers. Right, slip your first stitch, then knit to your last stitch. Okay, now purl your last stitch. There we go. is the 4th row that I'm going to want you to repeat. So I'm going to slip the first stitch, purl to the end basically. Okay. Okay, that's the end of that 4th row. So the first row, I was telling you, we knitted one, and then we knitted into the back and the front of the 2nd stitch, and we knitted right to this last 2 stitches, and we knitted into the back and the front, and then we purled the last stitch. Next row we purled, then we knitted, and then we purled, which we just finished. That's the 4 rows. So I want you to repeat those 4 rows until you get to 45 stitches on your needle. That's the completed increasing. I couldn't think of the word. That's the completed increasing plus the extra 4 rows. So what I'm going to do now is put in a stitch marker either side, because the next piece, I like these wee stitch markers, so handy. The next few rows get sewn under the arm. So what we're going to do now is a knit row and a purl row, and you're going to repeat that 3 times, so it's 6 rows in all, and I'll come back when I finish that. Right then, that's it completed to the top. That's the extra 6 rows finished that are going to get sewn under the arm. So the next thing to do is cast off, because that's you've completed your sleeve. Now casting off is really easy. It's just basically slip your first stitch, knit your second one, take your first one over the second one, knit the next one, take that one over that one, and that's basically it until the end of the row. Just don't do it too tight or too slack. Just try to keep a sort of happy medium with it. And I'll just carry on doing this, and then show you what's next. Okay, we're almost at the end. A couple more stitches to complete, to cast off. Okay, on the last stitch. Now, the last stitch, you just pull it up quite a long thread. Okay, and then cut it. Hope I've cut the right one. Yes, I have. Okay, so that's your sleeve complete. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to sew it up. So we're going to put right sides together, okay, and we're going to sew from this edge has disappeared. From this edge, just tuck the lace in out the way. From this edge up to the markers, put the markers together. You can actually clip them together if you wish, so that, you know, it doesn't move. I'll even put a few more in. I've always got markers about somewhere, so that it doesn't move. I clip that on there. There we go. That doesn't move. And I'll just put a few more in up the side. Oh, it's a handy thing. I never thought about that before. I usually use my spare sewing needles to do that. Well, I'll put in one more. There, right, sewing needle. So we've left this long thread. Probably won't sew right up to the markers, but we'll start another one. And we will get the two edges together, tuck the lace in, get the two edges together there, and start sewing them. I usually put a couple of stitches in at the very beginning, keeps it neat. There we go. Now just carry on sewing right up to the two markers, and then finish off, do a couple of stitches just to keep it in place, and cut your yarn, and then I'll be back. I'm almost at the markers with the sewing. I just thought I would show you, I actually back stitch it when I sew up. So you've got your thread there and you put it behind the thread and then come out in front of it all the way up. I think it gives it more of a secure seam. So I'm just getting up to the top here where the markers are, which is just there. I'm going to remove these markers before I finish off. Go. Now I'm going to put in a few double over stitches. One more. And I usually just do a few down the side, just a few slip stitches. There we go. So then I cut my thread. So take out this other marker. Turn the sleeve in the right way. There's it there. So now what you have to do is go make another one before we can finish the jacket. Okay, so I've sewn in some of the threads, not them all, but sewn in a few of them, and we're going now to insert the sleeves into the jacket. If you remember, we sewed all the way up here to the markers. So you turn the sleeve in the correct way, okay, so that the lace is on the outside, and then you turn the jacket in the wrong way, okay, and then you insert the sleeve. Now, this bit here, okay, gets sewn in along the cast off in between the backs and the fronts, okay. So insert the sleeve with that downwards, insert the sleeve. Now I will show you and then I will go do it. So from here, this bit here, all the way around, sew all the way around to this bit here. So then you have this here, and you're going to sew that onto this edge here. Okay, I'm going to go do one and come back and show you it complete. Okay, so I have sewn in the first sleeve, as you can see, all the way around there, and then that bit on the edge gets sewn on that edge. I'll show you from the other side now. There. So now you can see how that bit works. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the other sleeve in, and I am going to sew in the threads, and I'm going to sew on the 3 buttons, and I will come back with it completed so you can see it then. Well, here we are, and it's finished. 3 buttons sewn on, sort of 13 to 15 millimeter buttons. I'll tell you that at the beginning though. But just really pretty. Sleeves as well. and that's not scratchy stuff. So that's the back, and that's the completed jacket, if you so wish to make it, which I'd be delighted if you did. Absolutely delighted. Any colours you want, obviously it's your choice. I don't have come out with some silly things. But thank you for watching, if you've watched the whole lot. Even if you've watched some of it and guessed the rest, I don't know. Like, subscribe, share. I might do another one, haven't quite decided yet, to be honest. This has taken quite a lot of work to get this done. And it's the first full-scale jacket I've done on video. Whether it's the last or not, I don't know. Anyway, happy knitting. Hope you enjoy the rest of our videos.